So, hey guys, welcome back to another video. I'm trying to do one a day during quarantine. Here we go, let's just get into it. So this video is on wireless charging, how it works, and a quick history of wireless charging. So we're going to do a deep dive into that, and then whether or not I think it's worth it. So let's start with the history of wireless charging. The initial technology was discovered by Nikola Tesla, although Faraday had shown electromagnetic induction a few years earlier, which is when you generate an electric charge by moving a magnet. You generate a magnetic field which can then induce a charge. But wireless charging is actually the other way around. So what Nikola Tesla managed to do is he managed to utilize what's called resonant inductive coupling in order to light a lamp wirelessly. So he had a circuit with a coil and then separate circuit with a coil and a lamp. So he had a power source, an AC power source I believe, so alternating current, a coil, another coil, and a lamp, and he managed to light that up. However, that technology didn't really go anywhere because if you think about it, at the time, this was in the mid 1800s, there wasn't really any tech that this was useful for. It was also a very inefficient process, and it really wasn't widely adopted at all. In fact, the first place the technology was actually used was in electric toothbrushes. I'm sure those of you that have electric toothbrushes would have seen this, but never really thought about the fact that that's wireless charging. You'd see they just have a base and then the toothbrush and plug it in. This was really useful because it means you don't have to have a port in your bathroom, which is brilliant because obviously water, electricity doesn't mix that well. And obviously nowadays, after that, that tech is everywhere. It's inside all our phones. This is a Pixel 3 XL. There's definitely one in there. It's even here in the UK, it's even in McDonald's on a lot of the benches. You can just wirelessly charge your phone. People have wireless charging pads. I've literally just put my phone on one there. I even have an IKEA lamp, which is wireless charging, which I'll show you. So it really is everywhere. So how this technology works is you have an alternating current power source, i.e. the mains power, just directly from the wall, that is alternating current. You then run that power through an induction coil. So this is called the induction coil because it's the one that's inducing the charge. This is inside your wireless charger, there will be a coil, and you'll have alternating current running through that. That charge running through the coil will then generate a magnetic field which will fluctuate in strength due to the AC current, which is continuously changing in amplitude, which is what AC means effectively. It generates this electromotive force which will then induce an alternating electric current in a receiving coil. So there's also a coil inside of your phone. That coil inside your phone, you'll then have a circuit which will transfer that AC charge that's been generated into a DC charge, which can then be used to power your phone. So this process will only work if the two coils match. They have to be able to induce, in order to be able to induce power in another coil, it won't just do it to anything, it will only do it to a matching coil. So it's safe to leave stuff around your wireless chargers. But the drawback of that is then, unless we have a unifying standard, not all wireless chargers will work with everything. And thankfully, the QI standard does exist, and it's used by most phone manufacturers such as Google, Samsung, Apple uses it as well, which means that our wireless charging is compatible. But it also means that there are other methods of wireless charging which are used. It's all the same basic science, but there's a different coil. For example, inside my Pixel 3, there is also a coil that allows faster wireless charging, so up to 10 watts from my Pixel stand, which I have here. So if I place my Google Pixel on the stand, I'm getting quite a fast charging speed. But if I place another phone there that's just Qi compatible, it will still charge, but much slower. And that's because the Pixel and the stand both have this additional coil which uses a different standard which can charge the phone faster, and there are other methods of doing that. I know OnePlus has come out with this mad one recently that requires a cooler and is incredibly quick, but most phones, if they do use a proprietary standard, also have Qi included too. So you usually can charge your phone in most chargers just slowly. So like I said, the Pixel stand does also have a Qi coil inside it too, but with the main use cases of wireless charging, I would say that being slow doesn't really matter. You tend to use them quite passively. It will be like by your bed or on your desk. So as I said, the Qi standard is this main method that's used by the vast majority of it. It is about 60% efficient, which is pretty good. It's more efficient than most other forms of charging, such as those high power forms, such as that used by Google. Qi is a bit quicker. So currently, wireless charging requires the phone to be directly on top of the pad. There are very few that work from a distance, which is kind of a problem at the moment because it makes them not that applicable to much else apart from, as I said, passive uses. However, the technology is being developed that allows beaming power over a longer distance using the same technology. Problem with that is then efficiency sometimes goes even more down. But so in the future, we could see desks where you just sit at your desk and your phone's being charged in your pocket, or as soon as you place it on the desk, anywhere it's just being charged, or even to the point where you walk into a room and your phone is always charging, which would be brilliant. And that's also useful in other cases, such as I've seen proposed here in the UK, wireless charging roads for your electric vehicles, which would mean that obviously the convenience is so much up because you'd never have to go to a petrol station or a gas station, as you American people would call it. So let's get into the pros and cons of wireless charging. A lot of them are fairly self-explanatory. It's pretty convenient. You can just place your phone on your desk or on your charger, and then it's charging. You don't have to do anything. Particularly, I find the one at night, I just drop my phone on my bedside cabinet and it's charging. That's particularly good if you've had a few drinks and you don't want to mess around with a cable to plug it in. Having said that, another pro is cables tend to not be the strongest things in the world, especially most of us tend to get cheap cables of Amazon. They do tend to be a bit flimsy and they can break. Wireless chargers, you can get them equally cheap on Amazon, especially if you're not bothered about the speed, but they just don't really break. There's not moving parts, they just stay there. You just put your phone on top of it, done, it's charging. So that is actually a really good pro here. It's also future-proof. With the way manufacturers are going removing ports, such as the RIP, the headphone jack, there is a chance that we might see portless phones, and then having a wireless charger could be useful for that. I know I've seen leaked designs about Apple apparently getting rid of all the ports and even all the buttons, although this is kind of abstract at this point and I can't see that happening right now, but in the future certainly that could happen, so it may be worth investing in one now. There are also quite a few cons to wireless charging. A big one, as I said, is the range of the charger. It is wireless, but what's the point of wireless if you have to put your phone on top of a pad? And you can't use it whilst charging, which with a cable you can. That becomes less of a problem if you've, like me, become a bit more reliant on wireless charging. So my phone is charging now, and my phone is pretty much always charging at my desk. It's always charging when I'm in bed. I just pick it up and use it. So I don't have to charge wired at all. But it really can be a problem if you're one of those people who runs their phone to when it gets down to, like, say 10% before you go to bed. You're not going to be using your phone much in bed, you know, like we all do, scrolling through Facebook, Instagram, whatever. It's just going to run out of battery. Another big drawback, I would say, is that wireless chargers aren't usually included in the box for your phone. You have to buy them, and the faster ones can be really expensive, upwards of like £50, which is quite a bit of extra cost that's for something that's not really necessary. I mean, you get a charger, as I said, you can get those cheap Amazon cables. You can get cheap Amazon wireless chargers, but yeah, it's just an extra cost. And a big drawback as well, possibly the biggest one, depending where you lie, is efficiency. So as I said, Qi charging is 60% efficient. That means 40% of the power that's going into charging your phone is effectively wasted, which is a big problem for the environment. Especially, you are using more power in order to charge your phone just because of these losses. If this keeps being adopted at the rate that it is, and we see wireless charging everywhere to vehicles and everything, this could be a big problem for our power generation, because whilst, yes, some electricity is generated in environmentally friendly ways, not all of it is. Obviously there's those coal-fired power stations, and it's going to contribute to global warming. And can the national grid even handle it if we do go full wireless on everything? So that could be an issue, and quite a big one at that, as Qi is 60%, but some of the faster charging is way less efficient. So there is some sort of social conscience there from using it. Overall though, I think that in terms of convenience, wireless charging is brilliant. I use it, as I said, quite a bit in order to charge my phone at my desk and by my bed, and that's basically all the time I have to charge my phone. It's nice to have your phone there, just you can see all the notifications on it and it's just charging. But really, it's up to you guys, it's personal choice. I hope I've given you a good breakdown of how the tech works, some pros and some cons, and I hope you can make up your mind from that. So thank you guys for watching. As I said, I'm trying to put out videos every weekday at the moment. Maybe there'll be some of the weekend, who knows. So if you liked this, please give it a like and subscribe. It really helps out as a new channel.